Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing the review of this iPhone 6. As you can see, we're going to be reviewing this iPhone 6 and going to see if this still holds up in 2025. But before we dive into the review, let's give a moment to appreciate this iPhone 6. As you can see, it's still so good. The design and everything is still perfect, I would say. It still looks absolutely fantastic. So let's get on with the review. So first, let's start off with the iPhone 6's legacy. As you can see, the design is still perfect even till date. It is actually one of my favorite iPhone designs till now. It is so perfect, so sleek and so thin, and even the design, it's an all aluminum design at the back, and it even offered a larger display than its predecessor, which was the iPhone 5s. This was a way bigger display when you compare it to the iPhone 5s, and it even offered a more powerful camera than the iPhone 5s. It was one of the best selling smartphones of its day. So now let's talk about the design and build quality of this iPhone 6. As you can see, the build quality of this Design 6 is pretty good. It offered an all aluminum back and the in-hand feel of the smartphone was very good. But these thick bezels and the home button make it feel quite outdated in nowadays. I used to remember this used to get bent easily, but I have been using this smartphone for more than 8 years, and as you can see, the phone is still perfectly straight and it is not bent. So I think the build quality is pretty good on this iPhone, and it's still running quite smoothly even like today. So yeah, so now let's move on to the next segment of the video, which is the display. So the display is a 4.7-inch Retina HD display, which was impressive for its time. As you can see, it was very good. And let's put the brightness on the highest. So as you can see, the brightness was also fine for such a display in those days. The 4.7 inch is the perfect screen size. Like, it is not so big, not so small. It perfectly fits in your hand. And even with like one hand, you can touch all the four corners of the phone with just in one hand. And but nowadays, when you compare it to like the even like mid-range or budget smartphones are coming with like 120 hertz refresh rate screens, but this is just a 60 hertz screen, and sometimes you feel that the screen is like slow, but I guess it just works fine. So now let's talk about the performance on this iPhone 6. So let me just launch this game. So as you can see, the iPhone 6 got an A8 chip, which was a powerhouse in 2014, but today it is severely underpowered. It is like lacking in opening games, as you can see right now, or even like scrolling through social media. It is slow and laggy, so forget running any demanding games. You can run like this normal games, like which is like older games, less like these car games or something. So let me just show you the settings. It is running on the lowest because if I put it on the highest, it won't run. Where's the settings? Yep, as you can see, the graphic quality is on the lowest. Yeah, I'll run it on the lowest because if I like put it to the max, it won't even like get into the game. So let's just launch a game and play for like a few minutes. Yo, I got a Mini Cooper. Okay, yeah, so let's go. Let's race. So this was like a powerhouse in 2014. In 2014, this was one of the fastest smartphones that you could get. So let's see like how smooth it is. Oh, let's go, let's go. So if you run like these low end games on like the lowest setting, you can of course play. But if you imagine like playing Call of Duty or BGMI or anything like that, it is practically impossible. Even on like the lowest of the lowest settings, I don't think you can play. It is like super slow and super sluggish. So just watching YouTube or scrolling through Instagram is the only thing that you can do on this. Or play like these kind of like low demanding games which can run on practically any smartphone nowadays. So now let's move on to the next part of the video, that is the cameras. So now let's talk about the cameras. Now let me just show you the camera. The camera in the rear is an 8 megapixel camera, and the video quality is very much grainy on this iPhone. It was quite decent in its time, but nowadays it is too bad. The low light performance is like very poor on this iPhone. The front camera quality is just even worse. The low resolution and limited dynamic range is another problem on this iPhone. I will upload a few photos as you can see. So the battery life on this iPhone 6 was pretty much the worst because this iPhone 6 battery, like the capacity was way too small to support this device. It would barely last a day like with moderate usage. Let me just show you the battery capacity. It is 92% as you can see. The battery on this iPhone has been changed because the battery of the original iPhone like did not last long, and the battery health had degraded to around 55%, and it would just last for around 5 minutes. So like I got the battery replaced, and now it lasts for around like 2 hours of like continuous usage, like 2.5 hours. So you cannot use this phone the whole day without charging it at least like 2 times. So now let's move on to the next part of the video. So now let's talk about the software version of this iPhone 6. As you can see, this iPhone is running iOS 12.5.7. So this is like a very old version of the iOS. So many apps like do not run on this iPhone. Many apps like even YouTube also does not run on like the highest version, like the latest software version. It also runs an older version of YouTube and even WhatsApp and many apps like PhonePe, Google Pay, like they do not even install on this iPhone because those apps are not supported for such an old iOS device. So now let's move on to the last part of the video, that is the conclusion. So now we're going to talk about the last part of the video, that is the conclusion. The iPhone 6 was an groundbreaking device in its time, but it is like clear that it can't keep up with the demands of 2025. It is like quite outdated, the software version and all, and it is like a frustrating experience like if you need to use this iPhone in 2024. So if you consider buying an iPhone 6 in like 2024 for just buying an iPhone, I would strongly advise you do not buy this iPhone. Just get an iPhone uh 10 or iPhone 12, like that's the minimum that you can get, or you can just get an Android device of around to 10 to 15,000 rupees. That is a way better investment than buying this iPhone 6 in 2024 or even 2025. So that's all for today. I hope you guys liked my video. So please consider to share, like, and subscribe to my channel. So bye bye.